Ancient Olympic. In 776 BC, the first Olympic game began in Olympia, Greece. These ancient games were held in honor of Zeus, the king of the gods, and took place near Mount Olympus, the home of the Greek gods and goddesses. While these ancient games were the perfect opportunity for athletes and citizens to gather, compete and revel, the Olympics were heavily rooted in Greek religion and began as a tribute to Zeus.
Held every 4 years, these famous games would draw over 40,000 Greeks from all over to Olympia's valley. The actual grounds for the games were a rural area maintained by the city Elis. And when not in use, the stadiums were used as a wheat field with Zeus's temple nearby.
Zeus' Great Temple was originally built after a major victory over the invading Persian Empire. This temple surpassed all others in size at 65 feet and housed a giant statue of Zeus made of wood, gold, and ivory. It is now one of the 7 wonders of the world. The ancient Greeks had many stories surrounding who started the first original games, and many are based in Greek mythology.
Games in Olympia in dedication to Zeus, defeated his father Cronus in the battle to become the ruler of the sky and ruler of all the other gods. When Heracles conquered Augeas in the war for Elis, he established the games as a thank you to his father for helping him in the victory. The Greeks idealized physical fitness and mental discipline, and they believed that excellence in those areas honored Zeus, the greatest of all their gods.
The games were considered a religious event that was held on the most sacred spot, which was usually used for religious ceremonies. There were 70 different altars due to the varying beliefs and polytheism to ensure sacrifices were made prior to the beginning of the games. The opening festival activities included new writers, new painters, and new sculptors displaying their art, and fire eaters, palm readers, and prostitutes entertaining spectators. Religious oaths were given before the start of the games in front of a statue of Zeus.
The Greek games were such an important cultural marker that before the games began, messengers were sent to announce a sacred truce between warring city-states. Citizens were allowed to safely pass through enemy territories to reach Olympia. Once people had made it safely to Olympia, they stayed for the whole 5 days of the games.
Most people slept outside, under the stars. However, the wealthy and members of official delegations erected elaborate tents and pavilions and attempted to outdo each other in a lavish display. There was total chaos for a week because anyone who wanted to raise their profile, this was the place and time to do it. Speeches were held by well-known philosophers. Merchants, craftsmen, and food vendors arrived to sell their wares. Anyone who wanted to get a big audience from all over the Greek world showed up in Olympia. Painters, artists, and orators all went there to put their wares on display.
Athletic training was a basic part of every Greek boy's education, and any boy who excelled in sports might compete in the Olympics. The Olympic competition included preliminary matches or heats to select the best athletes for the final competition. Free Greek males were allowed to take part, from farmhands to royal heirs. Although the majority of the Olympians were soldiers, servants and slaves were allowed to participate only in the horse races, while married women could not compete or even attend. There was, however, a loophole to this. Chariot owners were declared Olympic champions and anyone could own a chariot.
Unmarried girls had the advantage of their own athletic contests at the Hera festival and were also allowed to watch the men's and boys' contests of the festival of Zeus. Married women, on the other hand, were barred on penalty of death from the sanctuary of Zeus on the days of the athletic competition for boys and men. Males in the games performed boxing, chariot racing, long jump, javelin, discus, pancration, running, and wrestling.
The ancient Olympic Games had an important position in the life of the ancient Greeks. Participants came from every corner of the Greek world to compete for the ultimate prize, the olive wreath, and the return to their city-states as heroes. But the Olympic values apart from the victory was the true meaning in the games, and the effort to combine the body, mind, and will in a balanced whole.
Athletes trained under the watchful eyes of a professional trainer, gymnastics, who know best how to develop particular muscles and techniques for each competition. the best diet and the correct amount of exercises to be done as part of the training process for the ancient Olympic Games.
Victorious athletes were professionals in the sense that they lived off the glory of their achievement afterward. Their hometowns might reward them with free meals for the rest of their lives. They were given cash tax breaks, honorary appointments, or leadership positions in the community. The victors were memorialized in statues and also in victory odes, commissioned from famous poets.
The Games continued through the Hellenistic period with more buildings added to the site. The Games continued to be popular and their prestige increased under emperors such as Hadrian. Victors were welcomed back to their homelands as heroes after the Games, typically in a procession riding a four-horse chariot. Huge banquets were held in their honor. Croton from southern Italy won consecutive station races from 488 to 480 BCE. Fana of Pelens won 3 events in 4 consecutive Olympics between 164 and 152 BCE. Herodoros of Megara with 10 consecutive trumpet competitions from 328 to 292 BCE. Kiniska, first woman to win the crown of victory, equestrian events 322 BCE. Ancient Olympic